Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Today we're going to start a short video series on how to fight multiple attackers. Look, one-on-one fights might be a little bit less common than you think, especially if you start winning the fight. That's when all of a sudden one of the guy's friends sucker punches you in the brainstem and you end up getting your teeth stomped out on the asphalt in front of your horrified wife and kids. Well, in the next 4 videos, I'm going to give you a system that you can use to easily deal with this type of combat scenario. If you watch these 4 videos, next time somebody tries to jump you, boom, a kapow! They'll just put everyone to sleep and then stand around feeling tough. Now in this series, I'll teach you how to take your opponents out one at a time without you getting badly hurt and without you being surrounded. I'll teach you how to stop sucker punches before the fight starts and of course during the fight, and ideally will keep you up on your feet so you don't get stomped on. Now, should you end up on the ground, I will be able to teach you how to handle that situation as well. Now, the best part about this is, regardless of your skill level or your fighting experience or your strength, this system will work for you if you take the time to learn it. I don't care if you've never been in a fight before in your life. In fact, when you start executing this stuff, you will deflate the confidence of the dumbasses trying to attack you. So let's get started. All right, first of all, this is my buddy Noah, and this is my buddy Deontay, and today we're going to show you how having a great Muay Thai clinch can help you easily beat 2 or even 3 people in a fight. Here's why. As soon as I clinch somebody's head and I control his posture, I can neutralize his ability to hurt me. So any punches Deontay tries to throw, those aren't going to hurt. I'm going to be able to rip him with knees. Now, obviously, I have this guy to contend with, and he's going to be punching me in the back of the head. And that's also why the clinch is phenomenal, because I can control this guy's positioning. So with a simple movement, I can put him between myself and Noah. Now, Noah has to try to creep past his buddy the entire time. He's getting crushed. Now, Noah doesn't have any good punches. He's reaching, trying to punch over his buddy's back, getting tripped up by his feet. Again, this guy can't hit me, and I'm dealing out damage while staying safe. That makes the clinch ideal for multiple attacker situations. Now, before I show you this strategy in action with some 2-on-1 and even 3-on-1 matches, I want you to see exactly how nasty the clinch can be. You guys might remember when Anderson Silva locked his clinch on Rich Franklin and Rich couldn't get out. Anderson was able to keep driving constant, powerful knees right to Rich's body and head, and Rich couldn't get any offense of his own. None of the stuff that he was doing hurt because he was clinched. After 30 seconds of non-stop knees, Franklin was done. To watch that entire fight, you can buy a fight pass at UFC.com. Vanderlei Silva versus Quinton Jackson was pretty much the same story. If you control your opponent's head and you keep firing knees, he's going to become exhausted and he will be knocked unconscious soon enough. Now you might be saying to yourself, well great, the clinch works nice in a 1-on-1, but what about a 2-on-1 or a 3 or 4-on-1 scenario? Let's have a look. Now I always like to kind of demonstrate the stuff that I'm showing you actually works, so that's what we're gonna do. And if you can do it sneakily, that's even better. So once I sneakily took the clinch on Deontay, I started dropping knees, and Noah was a bit tentative and hesitant to throw punches over his buddy's back, as most people are going to be. So I just took the opportunity to keep jamming my knees into Deontay's stomach, and of course, when you hit somebody enough, they're gonna fall, and then you're left with a 1-on-1 fight. Ideally, your clinched opponent does not get back up. Now, hopefully from that clip, you can see that it's surprisingly difficult for the punching attacker to run around his clinched friend, but what you should definitely have been able to see is that the puncher is always going to throw hesitant and tentative punches the whole time he's punching over his buddy's back. Look, he's reaching for punches, he's trying not to hit his buddy in the back of the head, the whole time being tripped up over the guy's feet, and it's challenging footwork to keep up. This all adds up to a very weak and awkward attack that wouldn't even hurt you if it hit you. Now let's assume the worst case scenario, and let's say the guy scampers right around his friend and he can unload one directly at your face. Well, with the addition of some basic head movement, you can still remain completely safe. Check this out. Now, of course, we start with a clinch, but this time Noah gets more aggressive and he's able to get closer, so all I have to do is move my head anytime I see a punch coming. It's not like they're hard to see, and since the guy can't throw combinations, it's pretty much one slip and then move. Now, whenever you're ready, you can start firing knees into the guy's body, and of course, continuing to dodge if punches come. Now, at some point, the guy that you're kneeing is going to collapse, at which point you have your 1-on-1, which we're both clearly way too happy about. All right, so what if you're not a really big head movement guy, or if you're not that quick, or maybe you're just not confident in your reaction time? That's fine. You don't even have to let the punching attacker anywhere near you if you add the right attacks to your arsenal. Let's have a look at a different variation of the strategy. Now, of course, we start with a clinch, but anytime the punching attacker gets near me, I'm going to drive my foot into his stomach, or you could also kick him right in the knee. Then, using the space that I created, you jam a knee into the other guy's guts and pretty much keep on going back and forth between the two. Anytime I have enough room for a knee, I jam one in there, and if not, I fire a kick and then use a knee with that space that I've created. Of course, at some point, one of them's going to fall, and then you have another cheerful one-on-one. So if you're worried about the puncher getting too close to you, or if you just don't have faith in your ability to hide using clinch positioning, just drive your heel into the guy's stomach or directly into his kneecap, and I guarantee you he's not going to be so eager to chase you around. That's going to give you more space and more time to drive knees into the other guy's stomach. Now, this strategy will still work against 3 or more people with some simple adjustments, but that's a topic for video number 3. In the meantime, I have to teach you how to build an unstoppable clinch. For now, let's start with clinch tip number 1, and that's to make your clinch an attack anytime you're taking it. So if I want to clinch Deontay's head, I'm not going to just reach out and grab him. I want to drive through this guy. I want to smash my forearms into his collarbone so hard that ideally they snap in half, digging the points of my elbows into his chest. Okay, now there's a few reasons why this is good to do, other than the fact that you can knock the guy's wind out and it hurts him. First reason why it's important to take your clinch this way is because if the guy backs up, if you're trying to drive through him, you'll still end up getting a hold of his head. So I go to clinch Deontay, he scampers back. I don't necessarily drive my elbows into him, but I still manage to get around his head because I was trying to follow through the man. So that's the difference between having a clinch and having no clinch. Now let's examine the old push-pull effect. Now, anytime you drive an attack into somebody and you start knocking them backwards, their tendency is going to be to plant and push against you. It's the old push-pull effect. A lot of guys just want to stand their ground. They don't want to get knocked back, so they push back into you. Sometimes guys are losing their balance, so they step a foot back and they push into you. That effect is going to help you reposition your opponent so you can keep him between you and the other guy. So if I drive an attack through Deontay, he pushes back into me, I can easily whip him across for a relatively effortless repositioning. Now, look, you can be a bully and you can rip people around with your muscles all you want, but if you're a smaller guy or if you have a strength disadvantage, you're going to need to utilize all those little details to get this guy working for you. So make your clinch an attack and use your opponent's reactions against him. These are the first steps in having a diabolical clinch. Now, in the next video,